Rock me, mama.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Amy. And this is
Rock Me Mama.
So we're here. We're queer. Get used to it, honey. No.
Is that from, what's that show? Is that, did you just make that up?
It's not a show. No,
Okay.
It's just like a gay thing. And I have tons of gay friends. So what are we talking about?
Today we're talking about how friendships change once you become a mom.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can count maybe 2 friends that I'm still close to.
I think one of the first times that you and I really like bonded was when you were, I don't remember when it was. It's been months ago now, but you were over at my house.
It's been a year because remember Halloween was like our first real hang.
Cute.
Yeah, so
Another cheers to that.
I know we were hanging out. We were talking before that, but then Halloween is when we first started like really hanging out.
Hanging, yeah.
Because we got all the kids together.
Yeah. Wow, it's almost been a year.
It's a year, yeah.
That's so sweet.
I know. But yeah, we did talk about that.
We did. I remember you were at my house. I was still obviously pregnant. And I was feeling feels about how my friendships have changed.
Yeah.
And when we say friendships, we mean with non-mom friends.
Yeah, like people that you were friends with before that are not mothers yet.
Yeah, or maybe are also mom. I mean, I don't know. But I specifically was upset about that. And I remember crying too. And you were like, they don't know. Like, you just had this like awesome feedback on it. And I remember that was like one of my first moments where I was like, thank God for Amy.
Yeah. Well, we started thinking we were going to be close when we were just texting. We had never seen each other. But we were on a group text with a bunch of our mom friends who are still our mom friends. And you and I hadn't met.
No, we hadn't met
in person. And I tried to stalk you on Instagram, but I didn't know it was under Fittest Core. So I just looked up your name and I was like, I have no idea. Like, I can't find anything.
Yeah.
And then I asked you and you're like, oh, it's under Fittest Core. And then I looked you up and I was like, oh, shit. You're like legit as fuck. So
you were like, I love to work out. And I was like, me too.
Yeah. No, we were just like kind of talking about like who we were. And it was like, I'm kind of like a psycho worker outer, which I am for a normal person. But then I saw.
You are.
But then I saw your Instagram and I was like, well, I'm not like you. I'm not carved of stone. My mom, when she met you the other day, she's like, she's stone. She's made of rocks. Oh she's hard as a rock.
Oh,
but yeah, so I looked you up, but then you and I kind of just like agreed on just any kind of conversation. We would always kind of be like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And so I knew we were going to be friends, but then Halloween, we all went trick-or-treating.
Yeah, it was so fun.
But yeah, we bonded over the fact that like, it's hard not to be disappointed. And I was actually saying this about parents as well. Cause I mean, we love all of our parents, but I think when you're thinking of becoming a mom, you think of your friends and your family and you have all these visions of what it's going to be like. And it's not like that.
Yeah.
And like you think,
expectations.
You just think your friends are all going to like rally around you. And like, you think they're going to be like, I thought Farrah would have like so many aunts and uncles. Yes. And I thought all my friends would come and visit constantly. Yeah. And I thought that like all my friends were going to be in her life and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
And it's, no, I get it. Life is really busy and life is really stressful, but I can't say that I'm not kind of bummed about some of them.
Sucks. Yeah.
Some of them, like, they're not listening to this podcast because they're not moms. So, you know,
right.
I feel like I can freely kind of talk about it, but a lot of them just have not shown up for me.
Yeah.
Or my kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person that's ever going to be like resentful or mad, but I definitely put it in a compartment in my head that says,
I do too.
That says, okay, now I know.
Yeah, I do too.
Not to say I still won't be there for them when they have kids because I'll know.
Right. That's what Chase always says. Chase, because Chase and I had a date night on Saturday and this got brought up again and I started crying about it just because it
affects you a lot.
It really affects me.
Yeah.
And I have voiced before with some friends that I would like to see them more and I would like for them to be a part of my son at that point, single son, but now both sons' lives. And that just hasn't really changed. And so every once in a while, like I'll see things or see what they're doing or get an update or anything, and it hurts, and it's not resentful.
Yeah.
Like you just said, I don't resent them.
No, because they don't get it.
They don't know.
No.
But it hurts. And I go back to, why don't they want to get to know my kids?
Yeah.
That's what I get hung up on.
Here's what I've decided, and I'll say it, and it's, people aren't going to like it. People without children are fucking selfish.
Yeah.
And they're
we were too. Like,
and they're narcissistic.
Yeah.
And like, I have realized that through becoming a parent, that you have got to be so selfless. And I honestly, I think a lot of people should not have kids.
Yeah.
But when you don't have kids, you never ever have to put yourself last. And I think there's something to be said for moving on with your life in a way where your priority is not your self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's important to do that for yourself, but your priority is helping someone else have a great life.
Right.
And and be fed and be protected and cared for.
Yeah.
And there are so many moving parts to being a mother, and really very few of them are taking care of you.
Yeah.
And it forces you to step out of yourself and not be a narcissist. It's very hard. I mean, there are lots of narcissist mothers, but it's pretty hard to do that.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I feel like
agree. It is hard to do that.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It takes a real sociopath to be a narcissist and a mom. But I just feel like, I'm pretty disappointed in a lot of the people that I really would have thought would have been like so happy to be in her life.
Yeah.
Seem to just honestly not think about it or care.
Yeah.
That's
how
it
weird. Feels for me.
And other friends, like my best friend Claire, like,
oh my gosh, she
doesn't have any kids, but she's more, involved in my life. Good
at it.
And so those people,
what gets me. I think that's what gets me, is that there are women that I see that are just so good at it. And this is, I don't know do you know who Shannon Ford is? Do you follow her on Instagram?
Does redhead?
Yes. Okay. She's great. Love her. Her best friend is a mom of 3. They actually just built houses next to each other and are next door neighbors now.
So fun.
She is obsessed with Taylor, her best friend's 3 daughters. Spends now every day with them because they are neighbors. But
and she doesn't have kids?
No, she's not married. She will be married to this guy, I would assume.
But that's rare.
It is rare, but I remember when E was probably under a year old, I remember messaging Shannon because she had just posted she took Taylor's daughter on like a trip or something. Yeah. I was like, it brought me to tears because I was like, this is so incredible for a best friend
to be that way,
to be multiple stages ahead of the other one and them still be able to connect and grow together through that. Yeah. And I remember messaging Shannon being like, coming from a mom, I hope you know how appreciated Taylor, or how appreciative Taylor is of you. Yeah. And I'm sure she tells you that, but I was like, what you are doing with her kids is absolutely beautiful.
So special.
And so special.
And rare.
And I was like, I would kill for my best friends to do that. Yeah. And she was like, oh my gosh, that brought me to tears. Like, those little girls are my life. And I was like, how do you, like, and I know that is a rarity, but it is. We all set expectations, but one of my expectations was, these are my best friends of 20 years. Like, they'll be aunt and aunt. And
it's not. My friends that have kids, of course, are different.
Yeah.
They were really there for me, Megan and Katie. And there's a lot of friends that have kids are extremely helpful. Yeah. Sophia. But like, the ones that don't are, I don't have a ton of best friends that live in Nashville. Now I do. Yeah. But, so I never expected it to be like that, to be like the way we are. We hang out every day. And, right. But I did expect them to want to see her once or twice. Mm-hmm.
Just like.
Literally, some of them have never met her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's 2.5.
Yeah.
It's like, and the same thing with like, my dad has met her a few times, but like and it's the thing, when you see that people travel, you're like, I know that you do travel.
Right.
I know that you do spend
Right.
money.
That's when I get
and you don't
upset.
do it for me.
That's when,
And
that's
it's
why
like,
I was crying
that's kind of
with
really,
Chase the other night.
yeah, that kind of really hurts.
One of my friends had like an all girls like dinner party, and I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
And it was the first moment that I was like, oh shit, I'm like not on your girl list.
Yeah, like I'm
anymore.
not part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she didn't even think that you would maybe want to come.
No, and
also just be invited. Like,
just invite me. Listen,
even if I can't come, I mostly can't come.
Right.
But just like still invite me
a
to
lot
things.
of the times the answer is going to be no. But you don't know that unless you ask me. And so I think I saw that and I just like, that really got me. That one like really, really got me. And that's what I was breaking down to Chase about the other night. And I was like, just see if I want to come. An invite would have meant so much. Because that was, like I said, the first time that I was like, I guess I'm just not like, this was a girls, and it was girls from like all different kind of like phases or not chapters
like
of her,
pockets,
yes, of her life. So it's not like it was this group. It was literally
like you knew everyone.
No, I didn't. But that's what I'm saying. It was like different.
Yeah.
Like, so it was
And
this
you just
girl
weren't
from
in
this
there.
group. And yeah, so like in my eyes, I'm like, oh, this is like all the girls that she's friends with.
Yeah.
And so that made it even worse. Because I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And so that
Well,
hurts.
and then even just friends that live here, friends that you kind of talk to or used to talk to on a daily basis. I find that they rarely even ask like how fair is or how I'm doing. It's just more about like, I'm dating this guy and this guy did this and this guy did that. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I get that you're still in that phase and I'm not coming down on that at all. But like, do you not want to know how my kid is?
Yeah.
Like, or you don't want to know how I'm doing?
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's odd.
It's
Chase
weird.
Chase is like so wise beyond his years, and he always has good feedback about stuff like this. And he's been telling me this it's been bothering me for
Years. Yeah.
I mean, ever since Eve was born, to be honest. And he always says it'll come around. Like, because right now they don't know. And they don't. This is not me ragging on them.
No, they don't know. They don't get it.
Because I didn't know when I wasn't a mom. And I think I've said this before, but I've apologized. The first friend of mine who became a mom, once I became a mom, I apologized to her and said I didn't know. If I'd known, I would have been there. And Chase, that's kind of what he's saying. He's like, it will come around. There will be a time when they become moms that whether they like flat out say like, I'm so sorry I wasn't there or whatever. But he was like,
most
will
people
start
won't do that.
Showing up and needing you in that stage.
Yeah.
Because right now they don't. It's a completely different stage.
Yeah.
And, I think the truth of the matter is their dinner parties are starting at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to be in bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, it's different, but I just would like to be invited. Or like...
It's also like when they complain about like...
Stop.
Being tired.
I knew you were going to say it.
When people without kids complain about being tired or being too busy and not having time.
No.
I was literally touring nonstop, coming home and still working on 200 different things. And I thought I was tired and I wasn't. I wasn't tired. I mean, there have been phases in my life that I've worked 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I wasn't tired then either.
No.
Now I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like...
That's another thing that you don't know, though.
No,
like,
you don't realize that you're not tired until you're tired.
But that is something that whenever they're like, oh, I stayed out late last night, I'm tired. I'm like...
Yeah. No, I did a gig with a girl the other day. And my bandmate does this all the time. She'll be like, oh my God, I'm so busy and so tired. I'm like...
You're like, yeah, you are.
You don't... Like, I get that you're tired for you.
Right, like, you are tired. You are. But
so, and people ask, like, how much sleep do you guys get? Like, it's... Every once in a while, you'll get an okay amount of sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some mothers get more sleep than others. I as you all know, don't sleep. I don't get to sleep.
You're not high up on that list?
No, she just doesn't sleep. But it's so enraging when people without kids complain about how busy and tired they are. Because they're not tired and they're not busy.
Do you know what my biggest pet peeve, though, is?
What?
It's the dog moms.
Oh, the dog moms. Oh, my God.
I'm going to
When people compare having a dog or a cat to having a kid and they legitimately think that they understand what it's like to have a kid, that is...
I have to draw the line there just because I could go off and I need to like not.
Yeah.
But that is the one thing for me that it's so different. It is so different. I have raised a puppy before.
I've raised multiple puppies. It's not the same thing. Having a dog or a cat is not the same thing as having a fucking kid.
You can leave
Please
a dog.
stop comparing being a dog mom to being a mother of a human child.
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to this, you
have a human child, so you know
the difference. But maybe y'all are like, yeah, that pisses me off too. But that's the one that when people are like, oh no, like I can't go on that's not even a good example. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
my dog is so needy. I'm like, do you have to breastfeed your dog?
Yeah.
Are you whipping your titties
in all
out
fairness,
to feed your
Tito
dog?
is like needier than my
Right, but
child.
you can throw him in the garage.
And I do.
Right. Or like slab a thing of peanut butter and be like, go entertain yourself for 30 minutes. A kid? That doesn't work.
No, nothing works for her. Actually, she is not even, TV doesn't work. Absolutely nothing works. She doesn't care.
Or, if you think something like an easy slab of peanut butter would work for your toddler, it would be the wrong peanut butter. Or they would ask for peanut butter and then they'd be pissed that you got them peanut butter.
Yeah, they'd be like, I meant jelly, motherfucker.
Yeah, dogs don't do that.
No.
That's I could go off on that for a while. But I think that this has been on my mind for a while, and this is a topic that I find myself like venting to about a lot. And
no, it's really hard to...
It's really hard.
And you kind of like, my brothers and I talk about it all the time. They're like, people without kids are so selfish. Mm-hmm. Because my brothers all have kids and they all feel like they only have friends with kids. Yeah. I mean, Nick is almost 10 years younger than me. So his friends, I'm 40 and Nick's 31. Mm-hmm. And his friends are 30, 31. Yeah. They're starting to have kids now. But Nick was the first one. Yeah. And so they're starting to get what Nick's going through. They're starting to be like, oh God, it's, so hard and blah, blah, blah. But Nick was like kind of alone in it for a couple of years because he was the first one. And he would say all the time, he's like, they don't get it. They're not going to come visit me. Like, they're not going to come and like be with my kid. Like, no. Men probably don't care at all.
Especially men. Yeah.
Yeah. But like...
It's really tough.
And like we always say it with our friend group, we all love each other, but we're friends because we have kids the same age. Yeah. That's why why we became friends. Yeah. So that we could hang out and they could run each other into the ground, and then we can drink and laugh and then they go home and go to bed.
I know, it's funny to think like if we would have all become friends like if
without kids. But how would we have met?
We wouldn't have.
We don't have like the same, like none of us are in the same lines of work.
No.
Other than living in Nashville, we would have no reason to meet each other.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
And that would suck. That would be sad because we're all best friends now.
The common denominator was that we're moms. I will say though, we all do. Like, I have met moms and have not become fast friends with them.
Oh yeah, so not all moms are created equal. Yeah. I mean,
so we do all have, like, we are all best friends now.
Yeah, but and like desperately want to hang out without our kids.
Right. Oh yeah, God yes.
That's all we want to do.
But yeah, it did initiate because we have the common bond of being moms.
Yeah, and I remember growing up, like my mom's best friends. She had her old friends, but most of the people that she really hung with were moms from when kids that we went to school with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
because that's who you hang out with.
When Chase and I, because we were the first ones, I mean, you know this from all of these conversations we've had, some of my best friends here aren't even married yet.
Yeah.
And so not only
but I'm in music and and actors and musicians,
they wait longer.
A lot of times don't get married. Ever.
Think about it when you do, and then on top of that, when you become a mom, you're 2 stages ahead. Yeah. Ahead may be the wrong word, but you're 2 different stages away from those friends. And it can really space out, like
put a rift between you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because you don't have as much in common anymore. And
think about what you do with your friends. It's like you go out and you drink and you hang out and you do the things that you both want to do.
Right.
And when you don't have those things, you can't do that when you're a mom. You can't every blue moon, but not really.
Right.
you don't have anything
2
in
weeks in
common
advance and
with people that are out all night
Yeah.
partying. We don't have anything in common with them.
right.
And
Yeah,
that's what
no,
all
that
my
sounds
friends
awful.
did,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's what we would do. We would go to bars and hang out and
Yeah.
go to the beach and go. But everything was about drinking and meeting people.
Right.
When you're single.
And it was fun.
It's so fun. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When you're single, you go out, let's face it, to meet people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You go out and you make yourself look attractive and you take a couple shots and you're like, I'm going to meet someone tonight.
Yeah.
That's, even if you say that that's not why you go out, you're lying.
Yeah.
You know, you go out because you want to hang out with your friends, but you also want to like look good and you want other people to notice that you look
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so and now if like a man looks at me the wrong way, I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? Because I'm just so annoyed. I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I'm married. I have a kid. I'm
Right.
trying to have another kid. I have a career. Like, I don't stop looking at me.
Yeah. It's so different.
If someone looks at me the wrong way, it is
It's
like
so
they
different.
should be scared.
But
I
think
hate
about
them.
like that's how we made friends then. And then think about how hard it is to make parent friends now. And not only just mom friends, but parent friends, because
You want your husband to hang out with.
yes, and it's
Or your
so
partner
much
to hang
match
out
up
with the person
because, like Nick has to like Chase, but he also has to like me.
Yeah.
I have to like you. Chase has to like you. We both
Yeah.
have to like it's a lot
Yeah.
to do, and thank God all of us do.
Our whole group. Yeah.
But like
We all like each
that's
other.
really hard too. And before we met y'all, we would talk to. This came up with Chase's dad a lot, just about how. Because I mean, there was a phase where we felt really lonely because before meeting y'all, it was like,
Yeah.
it's us. Like
Us
we're
too.
like we're hanging out with ourselves or our family, like our parents, and so that would get brought up a lot. And he would always say, once the kids are in school, is when y'all will make friends because you'll connect with a friend that he brings home or a parent that he. You meet at whatever meeting or whatever. And so I do think that we're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Because we already have.
Oh, yeah. Like I met 2 really nice women at the park the other day because Farrah was there and they were initiating conversation with me and like really nice and cool. And at the end I was like, all right, nice to meet you guys. And I could tell that they were like wanting to like exchange numbers. And in my mind I was like, I don't need anyone. I don't need any more friends.
Chase and I were talking about this.
Because I don't have time for more friends.
No.
Like I have my friend quota is full.
And it's what you need. I keep saying I was telling Chase this the other day, but I was. This is why I wanted to talk about this because this is all this has been stuff that I've been talking about recently.
Like what a cunty thing to say. Like I don't know anymore. But I don't have time.
I don't think
to be texting with more women. Like
I really don't think it is. It's about knowing what you need and then knowing what you can give.
Yeah.
Because if I think for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of women, maybe people, I think mostly women, feel like we need to have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, I need
a few good
friends. I need 3 or 4 like really good friends. And I have 3 or 4 really good friends that I talk to on a daily basis.
Time. Yeah.
A lot of them I see on a almost daily basis. I don't really need anymore.
There's literally no time.
And so I was saying that out loud and I was like, I'm good. Like my friends that aren't moms that I have been friends with for 20 years. Yeah. They will always be my friends.
Mine too. And you don't talk to those people. Like I talk to my best friends that I grew up with not half as much as I talk to you or Morgan because, they're just not, they're not part of my everyday life. That doesn't mean that they're not just as important to me because they are, but like, it's just different. But I don't need any more day-to-day mom friends to maintain. Like I just don't have time.
I'm not searching for that person to cry to, or I'm not searching for the friend to gossip with. I have that. And I think that's that clicking in my head of like, I don't have to hold on to what was because things change. And it doesn't mean they won't circle back. No. That's what Chase always says. He's like, it will come around. Yeah. Like, they will get married. They will have kids. But like, I'm content now. So I think like I'm working on, yes, my feelings will still get hurt because I'm a sensitive human being. But I think that now I'm working on like being super satisfied and just really content with the fact that I have incredible best friends that like literally like they choose me. Like y'all y'all choose.
Yeah,
me.
and
you show up for me.
Yeah.
And you know me, like you've known me
Yeah.
for just as long as him, honestly.
Yeah.
Like other than, me telling a story from 5 years ago that y'all don't know about.
Yeah.
Like y'all know when I'm off. Y'all know when I'm mad. Like y'all know.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't, that's great. And that's where I'm at.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like happy, healthy family and a few really great friends.
Yeah.
That's really
family,
it.
Really.
That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, it's hard for me because my family lives far away and I'm never with them and I miss them. I miss my brothers and I miss my parents and
Yeah.
it's not the same to visit when you rarely see people. It's
Yeah.
just you're cramming everything in and whatever. And I know that they all want me to move out to Portland because that's where everyone is.
Right.
I can't imagine it.
Please don't.
I can't imagine it. I mean, I don't know
Please
what
don't.
else. Unless they've already taken away most of women's rights and they're going for gay people and God knows what else they're going to be going for in Tennessee. But I feel like it's even more important to stay in places like that so that you can make change.
Yeah.
Whereas if I were in Portland or California or New York, it's like everybody is on my same political page. But more than anything, I can't imagine leaving my chosen family like you guys.
I know.
I can't imagine that. And I can't imagine leaving the life that we've created
Right.
for our children and for ourselves here.
Right.
My music and the podcast and everything. I just can't imagine picking up and going.
I know.
So as much as I want to be with my family, I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Okay. We should answer one of our questions.
We're doing
what do you want to know?
our new segment.
Yeah. You guys have asked a lot
news.
of you guys have asked a lot of
Producer
questions.
Morg
is very sick.
is under the weather.
Yeah,
so I'm sure you've been missing her commentary.
Yes.
To be honest, I
We
really
miss
have.
her commentary too.
So lonely in here without her.
Don't worry.
But she's sick. That's why you don't hear her funny little comments. But we're doing for this segment, the listeners get to ask us a question and producer Morg picks her favorite question and we answer it on the spot. So drum roll, please.
You want to ask it?
What sparked the idea of doing a podcast together?
Okay, so we were all out for like our
Your 40th birthday.
our first ever girls' night, which was my 40th birthday. Almost a year ago. And I'm not going to age myself that much. It's got a few months, queens.
We're still 40.
We're still 40. But we were out and we were having sushi and we were eating at this place called 210 Jack, which is one of the best restaurants in Nashville. It's really fucking great. And we were there and we were just talking about like our gory birth stories, which we're going to do a segment called Gory Beautiful Birth Stories, where we're going to ask you guys about your birth stories. We're going to have a lot of interviews and whatever. But that was kind of the first idea that I had. And me and Macy had become really fast friends. And I noticed obviously that she has you're a star of a human being. You know what I mean? You are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're a star. Some people are shining stars, and you are.
Thank you.
And I was like, okay, I had a podcast before that was really racy. It was called Sex in the Music City, and I interviewed people about their weird sex lives. And it fell through. It did pretty well for a minute, and it fell through because I ended up not being friends with one of the girls, and we were whatever. There was drama, and it got canceled. So I wanted to start another podcast, and I realized that my life was so different since being a mom that I no longer wanted to fucking talk about the same things.
Certainly not interesting sex stories.
No, I didn't fucking
What
care.
are those?
I
Yeah.
didn't care.
Yeah.
And everything had changed. And so when you and I were talking, I was kind of spitballing these ideas, and you were like, all the girls really were like, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
But me and you kept talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I remember looking over at you and I was like, oh no, it was on the drive back home.
Yeah.
Because I was pregnant at the time, and we all live in the same neighborhood. So I picked up most of the girls.
Yeah.
And you were my last
And I was
stop.
like, I really want to do this.
Yeah. Well, I looked at you and I was like, hey, if you're serious about the podcast, I'm in.
Yeah. And then we started immediately
Yeah.
spitballing ideas off each other.
That night. We made a shared note and we were like, if we could do this, we could do this.
Yeah. And we had so many good ideas.
It was an immediate because your work ethic is very similar
We're
to
both
mine.
very hard workers and very obsessive compulsive workers.
And I could tell by how you were talking about it at dinner that you were in the same place. So that's why I was like, hey, like, I'm in.
Yeah.
If you want to do this, I think that we could make this a thing.
Well, and I remember from my other podcast that I thought any more than 2 people was too many people.
Yeah.
So I knew that there should only be 2 hosts, and then we could have like someone like Morgan or a guest interject and make commentary. But there can't be too many, for me, cooks in the kitchen because honey, she talks.
Yeah, same.
And she talks. So we decided, we're like, we want to do it, and we want to do it together. And we really started working on it right away. And we made it happen. We knew that we had to make it happen before you had your baby, or it would be another 6-7 months.
Right.
So yeah.
No, we like found
that's how it came about.
We figured out, and Morgan was the one that suggested
that we do it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
because we were looking for a studio, and Morgan was like, me and my husband can do it.
We were like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Tell us when.
And so then it became the 4 of us.
Yeah. Which is,
and now we're a little team.
I know. I can't imagine it any other way now. Ew. What if we picked like,
I know,
another person,
like a random studio,
like a producer. We have our wonderful producers.
We have our Heart Productions.
But yeah, that's how it came to be. And
yeah,
we've both like taken it and like really run with it because we're both super passionate about it. And
and it's become really like, it's, you know, we don't have like millions of followers yet, but we're doing really well. Our numbers are good
because of y'all
and because of you guys, and it's really growing. And this week it's up like 26%. And it's really, really exciting to know that like what we're doing. A friend of mine texted me tonight and she was like, I just got to listen to your podcast and I listened to every single episode on a really long car ride. She was like, you guys are doing important things. Aww. She's like, I felt seen and heard. Aww. And then I got more messages every day. I get messages and I know you do too. From you guys just being like, thank God that like you're not sugarcoating it, which we're not. And we never will, because why the fuck would we do that?
There's nothing to sugarcoat about motherhood.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to wrap this, but we love you guys and we'll see you next episode.
Cheers to mom friends.
And cheers to Makers Canned Wine.
Love y'all.
Love.
Rock, rock, rock me, mama.